The life story of Chris Hemsworth. Birth and early childhood in Australia. On August 11, 1983, in Melbourne, Australia, a child was born who would one day become a global symbol of strength, charisma, and cinematic power. His name was Chris Hemsworth. He was born into a family that valued both discipline and education. His father, Craig Hemsworth, worked as a social services counselor, helping individuals navigate difficult life situations, while his mother, Leonie Hemsworth, was an English teacher who nurtured creativity and communication within the household. From an early age, Chris was exposed to both structure and imagination, a combination that would later define his personality. Unlike many Hollywood stars who grow up surrounded by the entertainment industry, Chris spent much of his childhood in environments far removed from fame. His family frequently moved between the city of Melbourne and the remote regions of the Northern Territory. This dual lifestyle had a profound impact on him. In the city, he experienced routine and education, while in the Outback, he experienced freedom, survival, and a deep connection with nature. Growing up in the Australian wilderness was not just an experience. It was a form of training. Chris learned to adapt to changing environments, to stay physically active, and to remain mentally strong. Whether it was exploring vast landscapes, dealing with isolation, or embracing outdoor challenges, these early experiences shaped his resilience. At the time, there was no indication that he would become an international movie star. His life was simple, grounded, and far from the glamorous world of Hollywood. But beneath that simplicity, qualities were forming strength, confidence, and a natural presence that would later become essential to his success. Teenage years and the absence of a clear dream. During his teenage years, Chris Hemsworth did not have a clearly defined ambition to become an actor. Unlike many performers who discover their passion early, his path was uncertain. He was, in many ways, like any other young person trying to understand his future. He attended school, participated in everyday activities, and explored different interests. However, one thing consistently set him apart: his presence. He had a natural confidence, a strong physical build, and an ability to command attention without effort. People noticed him, even when he wasn't trying to stand out. It was during this period that acting slowly entered his life, not as a lifelong dream, but as an opportunity worth exploring. The idea of performing, of stepping into different roles, began to intrigue him. Unlike traditional training routes, Chris approached acting in a more practical way. He learned by doing, by observing, and by gradually immersing himself in the craft. This phase of uncertainty was important. It allowed him to develop authenticity. He wasn't shaped by strict expectations or industry pressure. Instead, he brought a natural, unpolished energy to his early performances, something that would later distinguish him in a highly competitive field. First breakthrough with television, Home and Away. Chris Hemsworth's first significant step into the entertainment industry came when he was cast in the Australian television series, Home and Away. This opportunity marked a turning point in his life. The show was one of Australia's most popular television dramas, known for launching the careers of several successful actors. For Chris, it provided something invaluable: consistency and exposure. He played the character Kim Hyde, a role that allowed him to appear regularly on screen and develop his skills over time. Working on a daily television show is demanding. Long shooting hours, fast-paced production schedules, and the need to deliver consistent performances require discipline and focus. Through this experience, Chris learned the technical aspects of acting, understanding camera angles, controlling expressions, and delivering emotional scenes with authenticity. More importantly, he developed professionalism. Acting was no longer just an idea, it became a career. However, despite his growing success in Australia, Chris recognized a limitation. Local fame, while meaningful, was not enough to achieve global recognition. He realized that if he wanted to grow further, he needed to take a much bigger risk: the decision to leave everything behind. At a certain point in life, growth requires leaving comfort behind. For Chris Hemsworth, that moment came when he made the bold decision to move to Hollywood. This was not an easy choice. In Australia, he had stability. He had recognition. He had a steady career in television. But Hollywood offered something different: opportunity at a much larger scale, combined with intense competition. When he arrived in Hollywood, everything changed. He was no longer a known actor, no longer a familiar face. He became one among thousands, all chasing the same dream. Auditions became frequent. Rejections became common. Uncertainty became part of daily life. The transition was challenging. Hollywood is an industry that demands more than talent. It demands persistence, adaptability, and resilience. Many talented actors fail to break through simply because they cannot sustain the pressure. Chris faced these challenges head-on. Despite setbacks, he continued auditioning, improving, and pushing forward. He understood that success at this level would not come easily. It would require patience and determination. And then, after countless attempts, an opportunity began to emerge. A role that would test not just his acting ability, but his physical and mental limits as well. A role that would transform his career completely. The role that changed everything, becoming Thor. After years of struggle, auditions, and uncertainty in Hollywood, Chris Hemsworth finally encountered the opportunity that would transform his life forever. That opportunity came in the form of a character rooted in mythology, a powerful figure from Norse legends. In 2011, he was cast as Thor in the film Thor. At the time, this was not just another acting role. It was a massive responsibility. The character of Thor was already well known through comic books, particularly those published by Marvel. Fans across the world had strong expectations about how the character should look, speak, and behave. For Chris Hemsworth, the challenge was immense. He had to transform himself physically, building a powerful physique that matched the image of a god. This required intense training, strict discipline, and complete commitment. But physical transformation alone was not enough. He also had to bring personality to the character, strength combined with humility, power balanced with emotion. When Thor was released, the response was immediate. Audiences were captivated by his presence. He didn't just play the role, he embodied it. His performance introduced him to a global audience and marked the beginning of a new chapter in his career. Entering a cinematic universe, the rise of a global star. Following the success of Thor, Chris Hemsworth became a central figure in the expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe. This universe connected multiple films and characters into a single narrative, creating something that had never been seen on such a scale before. As Thor, Chris became part of a team of iconic heroes appearing in films like The Avengers. These films were not just successful, they became global events. Millions of people around the world watched them, discussed them, and connected with their characters. Through these projects, Chris Hemsworth transitioned from a rising actor to an international superstar. His portrayal of Thor evolved over time. Initially presented as a serious and powerful warrior, the character later developed humor, depth, and relatability. This evolution reflected Chris's own growth as an actor, as he brought more personality and nuance into the role, expanding beyond superhero roles. While the success of the Marvel films established his global fame, Chris Hemsworth understood the importance of diversification. Many actors become defined by a single role, but he aimed to explore different genres and prove his versatility. He took on roles in films such as Rush, where he portrayed Formula One driver James Hunt. This performance was significantly different from his role as Thor. It required emotional complexity, charisma, and a deeper exploration of character. The film received critical acclaim, and Chris's performance was widely praised. It demonstrated that he was not limited to action roles. He was capable of delivering strong dramatic performances as well. He also appeared in films like Snow White and The Huntsman and Extraction, further expanding his range and appeal. Through these choices, he built a career that balanced commercial success with artistic credibility. Challenges behind success. Despite his achievements, Chris Hemsworth's journey was not without challenges. Global fame comes with intense pressure. Maintaining physical standards for roles like Thor required continuous training and discipline, which could be both physically and mentally demanding. Additionally, being part of a massive franchise meant dealing with constant public attention. Every performance was analyzed, every decision scrutinized. The expectations were high, and the margin for error was small. There were also professional risks. Choosing roles outside of the superhero genre meant stepping into uncertainty. Not every film achieved the same level of success, but these experiences were essential for growth. Through these challenges, Chris demonstrated resilience. He continued to evolve, learn, and adapt, ensuring that his career remained dynamic rather than predictable. Personal life and grounded identity. One of the most notable aspects of Chris Hemsworth's life is his ability to remain grounded despite immense fame. He married Spanish actress Elsa Pataky, and together they built a family-focused life. Unlike many celebrities who remain in the center of Hollywood, Chris chose a different path. He moved back to Australia, prioritizing family and a balanced lifestyle over constant industry presence. This decision reflects his values. Despite achieving global recognition, he remained connected to his roots. The simplicity of his early life continued to influence his choices, helping him maintain a sense of identity beyond fame. Legacy more than just a superhero. Today, Chris Hemsworth is recognized not only as a successful actor but also as a cultural icon. His portrayal of Thor has become one of the most iconic characters in modern cinema. However, his legacy extends beyond a single role. He represents dedication, transformation, and the ability to take risks. From a childhood spent in the Australian wilderness to becoming a global superstar, his journey reflects persistence and adaptability. He has proven that success is not just about opportunity but about preparation, resilience, and continuous growth.